Agreement templates with Adobe Acrobat Sign are incredibly powerful. They take planning to build effectively, but with them, you can predefine agreement fields and data mapping. What this means is exceptionally scalable agreement workflows. You can predefine your document name fields, expiration dates, messages, and security options. You can map data in a variety of ways, including merge mapping and object mapping, such as opportunity, account, contact, or lead to the template. You can preset recipient definitions, map fields to agreement fields, and even predefined file attachments. But to learn how to set up agreement templates takes time, and you will need an expert to take you through the steps. To walk you through this, I will hand it off to one of Adobe Agreement's template experts, Nickel. So with that, here is Nickel.
Let's see how we can create an agreement template. In order to create a new agreement template, you need to go to App Launcher, then click on View All, and select Adobe Acrobat Sign for Salesforce application. Once you are into the application, you will see Agreement Templates tab here. So click on it. Now click on New button to create a new agreement template. So enter the name for the agreement template. Let's say Test Agreement Template. You will see another option, Choose Workflow. This is optional, but if you want to import the workflow from your Adobe Sign account, you can select at the time of creating the agreement template. If you do not select any workflow here, then you won't be able to edit this later on in agreement template. So I will not select any workflow and I'll hit save. So now you see the new agreement template page. So here, the first field is agreement name under template details tab. So whatever name you provide here, all the agreements initially will be generated with this name. I will name it as test agreement. In the second field, you have to select the master object. So this object you define, select account object. So this means that we are creating this agreement template to initiate our agreement generation process from account object. You have the auto send checkbox. You can enable this if you want the agreement to be automatically sent out. There's another option, map data into agreement fields. So here you have two options. The first one, select from object. So the master object that you have defined, you can define the source value and put that value in the target agreement field of the agreement that you are going to generate. The other option is you directly pass the value in the target field value section and it will be populated in the target agreement field. In the attachment tab, you must attach one or more documents that the template is expected to deliver. If no documents are attached to the template, the sender will have to select the document when configuring the agreement. You can select the files from these options: Salesforce CRM and files, Salesforce documents, Adobe Acrobat Sign library. You can also upload files from the local drive. And the another option is to use Document Builder to create a new template here. In order to use Document Builder, you will have to install the package for Document Builder. I'm going to select any document from Salesforce CRM and files As soon as I select the document, you can see the document is added to the list. When we scroll down, we see the advanced options. So in the advanced option, you have two subcategories and you can dynamically add document from your object. So if you do not want to hard code your document and you want to dynamically pick the document, you should come under advanced option and select choose document source. I already have the document, so I'm not going to select dynamically. The last option is to add the form field template. There is a feature in Adobe Sign where you create form field templates. If you want to add those templates and add the fields in that template to the agreement that you are going to generate, you can use this option. You can import form field template from Adobe Sign Web. And how you can use the recipients tab to add recipients and control the stack of recipients for the agreement. You can either pass a fixed recipient or choose the recipient dynamically. To add a fixed recipient, click on Add Fixed Recipient. You can select the type of the recipient. I will select email. I will hard code the recipient. I can also add dynamic recipient. Click on Add Dynamic Recipient. You have an option to select the role of the recipient. I'll keep it as signer. Recipient type, email. So you have various options how you want to dynamically pull the recipient. So we can select lookup based on master object field. You can select the various verification methods. Let's keep it as email. So in the source field, you have to define the field from where the value will be coming from. So let's say in my account, I have the email in the account description field. I will select this. You can also pass recipient first name and last name. It's an optional. You can also add a private message for the recipient. If you do not want all the recipients to see the message, you can add a private message here. Hit save. Your dynamic recipient is added. You can add a message for all the recipients. In the advanced options, you see enable hosted signature if you want the first signer to sign in person. If you want to author the agreement before sending it out, you can enable preview and position fields so that you don't have to directly send the agreement. You can also use send on behalf of if you want to send out agreements on behalf of other user. You can check the entire configuration you have to follow for this feature in the help article. Now let's move to data mapping tab. You see two options here, merge mapping and data mapping. We will cover both the topics later in this video. Merge mapping is a feature where you want the values to be populated in the agreement from Salesforce. Data mapping is a feature where you want all the values entered by signer in the document to be pulled and pushed back to Salesforce. If you have merge mapping and data mapping defined, you can select those mappings here. I do not have mapping right now, so I'm going to leave it as blank. You can specify additional rules as per your requirement. Now let's save this template. Keep this tab open. Now let's understand how we can use this agreement template to generate an agreement. Let's go to Setup. Click on Object Manager. Select the object that you selected in the Master Object category of Agreement Template. Click on Button Links and Actions. Click New Button or Link. Give the name to the button. Select your display type. Now check the help article. You will find the syntax, the Apex code that you have to use. Copy that. Paste here. In the master ID section, you have to pass the API name of the object that you passed in the master object. I passed account and the API name for account is account. So I will change it. In the template ID section, you have to pass the template ID that you just created. This is my template ID. I'll copy. I will paste here. Check syntax. No syntax errors. Let's save. Now that we have created the custom button, let's add this to the layout. So come to page layout. Select the layout that you want this button to appear. Select mobile and lightning actions. Drag the button that you just created and drop it here. Let's save the changes. Now let's go to the account object. Let's select the account record from where you will initiate the process. Click on the drop down. You should see the button that you just created. Click on this button. It has started generating agreement. It will redirect you to the agreement page with all the values auto-populated that you had selected in agreement template. This is my fixed recipient. I did not have a value in the dynamic recipient field. That's why this is empty. Test agreement, test message. The account record is automatically linked from where I initiated the process. The document that I selected in the attachment is populated. If I don't need this recipient anymore, I will remove this and just hit send. The document is sent out for signature. Press OK. It will redirect you to agreement record, and you can check the status is out for signature. This is how you use agreement template. Now let's go back to the account record. To understand another way of using this agreement template, custom button. But what if you do not want to create multiple custom buttons for multiple agreement templates, and you only want one button for all the agreement templates that you associate with the master object account? In order to do so, you can use the feature agreement panel. Once you have opened the record, click on the gear icon, click edit page, scroll down, and the custom managed, select agreement panel. You have to drag this, and you can place this option anywhere you want. Save the changes. If it asks if it requires to activate, hit activate. Select the desired option. I will select assign as org default. I will select for both desktop and phone, and save the changes. Hit save one more time. Now come back. Agreement panel added here, and there's a single button. When you click on it, it shows all the templates that are associated with the master object account. I have two templates that have master object as account. That's why it shows me two templates. And there is third button for new agreement. If you just want to start the new agreement, before we initiate another transaction, let's come to description field and add the email here. Save. Now let's try to generate the agreement from this agreement panel. You hit this send button, select the template that you want to initiate. Now you can select the dynamic email address is also populated. It does the same thing as the custom button does. Once you have checked everything, you can hit send. Document is sent out for signature. Press OK. The document is successfully sent out for signature, and you can also check the status here. Now let's learn about how to set up merge mapping in Salesforce. You can use Acrobat Sign merge mappings to merge field data from Salesforce into your document fields before sending them out for signature. In order to create the merge mapping, once you are in Acrobat Sign application, click on More and select Merge Mappings. Click on New. Give it a name. Now click on Add Field Mapping. In the target document field, you have to enter the name of the field in your document where you will be pushing the data. As you can see in my Word file, I have 3 fields and the fourth one is signature field. This is the name of my field. Rest is the syntax. If you are using text tags to build your document, select these names and you have to pass these names in the merge mapping. So my first field is address. Make sure that the field name in your document should match the name that you are passing in the target document field. Source type. If you want to pick up the value from the object, select first option. If you want to pass a constant value, select the constant option and pass the value. I will select the Salesforce object field. In the source value, click on selected object. The process will always start from agreement object. So if you are using a custom object, make sure that there is a relationship between agreement and the custom object. I will select account because we created the agreement template where we defined master object account. I will select billing address. Hit done. The mapping is defined for one field. If you want to disable this mapping, just check this box and this mapping will be disabled. Let's add more mapping. So we click on add field mapping. The second field name is phone. So I pass the same name. Let's select the object. Let's pass the third mapping. The third field name was name. Let's select the reference account. Let's say I want to pass account name here. My mapping is done. I will hit save. Now let's come back to agreement template. Open the template that we created. Come back to data mapping section and select the merge mapping that you created. Save the changes. I have already added the file test document where I have the text tags added. Let's go to account and see how the mapping works. So I have the value phone. I have the entire billing address. And here is my account name. So I want these values to be populated. I will start the process from the agreement panel that we added. I will hit preview and add signature fields. Hit next. You can see all the values are automatically populated. The size of my field was not big enough, but you can see the value is populated automatically. Once you send out the document, you can see the values are there in the thumbnail. And when signer opens up the document, signer will also see the values automatically populated, and signer can decide whether he wants to keep the values or change them. Now let's also discuss about product line mapping, where you can map the Salesforce product line item fields to Adobe document field section. This mapping is only available for the opportunity object. Let's go to opportunities first. This is my test opportunity. Let's say I have 3 products related to this opportunity, and I would want the quantity and the list price of these products. I will now go to merge mappings and create a new mapping. Give the mapping a name. This time you need to add field mappings in this section. Select object, opportunity, opportunity product, quantity. Click on plus icon. Let's select another field, which is list price. Click on plus icon. Let's say I only need these 2. Press done. Save the mapping. The only thing that you have to make sure is the form field name that's mentioned here should be the form field name in your document as well. This is the form field name appended by number 1, form field name appended by number 2, and so on. What this means is this will pick up the value from product 1. This will pick up the quantity of product 2, product 3, and so on. Same goes for list price. No matter how many products you have, you just keep appending the number accordingly and keep the form field name same. Let's go to agreement template. I already have agreement template created with master object set as opportunity. As I already stated, this will only work with the opportunity object. I already have the attachments. Now let's go to data mapping tab and associate the merge mapping that we just created and save the changes. Let's go to opportunity and send an agreement to see how mapping works. Let's use the template to generate an agreement. Let's check preview button and hit next. So you can see the quantity of product 1, product 2 and product 3 and the list price of product 1, product 2 and product 3 is automatically populated here. Now, if you see that merge mapping did not work successfully, to figure out the error for merge mapping, let's create a list view in the Agreements tab. Click on Agreements. Click on this small gear icon with a drop down and select New. Give list name here. Save. So now you need to add filter. The easiest way to add the filter would be to select record ID. You can get the agreement ID of particular agreement from the agreement record. Just copy that ID, paste it here and hit done. Save. You will only see that particular agreement. Now again click on the gear icon and select fields to display. So you have to look for the merge mapping fields. So let's select all the merge mapping fields here and hit save. So this is how you see the merge mapping error. If merge mapping result says completed, the merge mapping work successfully worked. If the merge mapping result says failed, you will see the error in the merge mapping error field. You can check this error in the help article. And if that error is listed, follow the steps mentioned in the help article. And if the error is not listed, reach out to Adobe Sign support and they will troubleshoot the issue for you. Let's move to data mappings and learn how to configure the data mappings. Data mappings are used to update Salesforce objects with signers' data. For example, a signer entered their billing address while signing the agreement, and you want that address to be updated back to the record. So you will have to define data mapping in order to push the data. In order to create the data mapping, you have to come to Data Mappings tab. Click on New button. Provide a name. Save. There is a default data mapping checkbox. If you want to run this mapping by default for all the agreements generated, you can check this box. Otherwise, you can leave it unchecked. So in the data mapping, you have two options, fields mapping and file mapping. Fields mapping is used to push the data entered into the fields to the record in your Salesforce, while file mapping is used to push the signed agreement back to the record. Let's define them one by one. In order to define the fields mapping, hit Add Mapping. Select the object. Select the field that you want to update. Select the source of the data. You have three options here: EchoSign form field, constant value, and agreement fields. So we are going to pick up EchoSign form field because our data will be coming from the document itself. In this box, you have to enter the name of the field from where the data will be coming. So let's say my field name is address. You have to make sure the name matches exactly the name as in the document. When do you want to run this mapping? You have to select the appropriate status. So I want to run this when my document gets signed. This is how you can keep defining mappings and update the field values in your Salesforce object. Now let's define file mapping. So click on Add Mapping. Select the object where you want to push the signed file. Select how do you want to attach the file. If you want to save it as an attachment, check this box or keep it unchecked if you just want it as a file. Select whether you want the merged PDF or the separate PDFs, or you only want the audit trail or supporting documents. Select when do you want to run this mapping. So I will select signed status. Save this mapping. Now let's associate this data mapping to the agreement template that we created. And save the changes. Let's go back to our account record and see how this works. Let's generate a document. Let's preview the document. The merge mapping ran successfully. Let's send the document out. Let's open the document for signing. Let's say signer decided to change the address. Let's complete the signing process. Now let's come back to our account record and refresh the page. If you see, the mapping ran successfully and It says changed address in one of the fields that I selected in my data mapping. And if you check the files related list, the signed file is also pushed back in the record. If for some reason you see data mapping did not run, then come to Agreements tab. Click on the gear icon with the drop down. Hit New. Provide a name. Save the list view. Add filter. Select record ID as the option. Copy the record ID of the record agreement record where data mapping did not work. Paste it, hit done, and save the changes. Now select fields to display. Make sure to add these fields. And hit save. So if the data mapping did not work, in the result, you will see failed and you will see data mapping error logged in the data mapping error field. You can also see which mapping was associated to this particular agreement. You can check this error in the help article. If the error is listed there, you can follow the steps mentioned in the article. And if the error is not listed there, you can reach out to Adobe Sign support and they will help you troubleshoot this further. Alternatively, you can also try to trigger data mapping manually by checking this box. Hit save. And check the agreement. Hit update agreement. Submit. Come back to your view and you can check whether the data mapping result changes to completed or do you still see the error.